Welcome to Cody and the Cinema. Today I'm discussing the Robert Eggers version of Nosferatu from 2024, starring Lily Rose Depp and Bill Skarsgård as the Count, as the Nosferatu. I'm a big fan of the other two films, especially, well, this is the 20s version that I have, the Masters of Cinema, but I'm a really big fan, in love with the Klaus Kinski, Isabella Gianni Herzog version, Nosferatu the Vampire. Before this film came out, I'd released a video you should check out concerning this film and why I like it so much, even though it will obviously not be for everybody. This film starts, and the plot follows the kind of the traditional version of this story, where this young man, Thomas, he goes to make a real estate deal with a count in a mysterious land, and then the Count Orlok, in this case, returns to the town and causes all kinds of chaos. It's a well-known story. I was curious what a director who does understand how to pull off the macabre so well would do with his source material. I know he is a big fan of this version, and I knew that there would be a reverence for the material, and I knew that he would do it at least some amount of justice. So how effective do I think this was overall? It's hit and miss, but mostly I enjoyed the picture. So I wanted to go over parts that I thought worked really well and talk about some things that I wish could have been done differently. I do want to say Lily Rose Depp was actually a big concern for me going in. I thought this may not be, the best performance or whatever. That was presumptuous of me. She's great in the movie. If you're going up against an actress like Isabella Gianni as being the last major heroine from that film, and she's just all kinds of amazing in it, as well as the Sam Neill picture, I think it's called Possession, where she's just mind-bogglingly good in that film. To be able to be in this version and compete with that and give me a memorable character, I really appreciate it. I think she is a lot of the strength of the film. She is creepy. In fact, I think in some ways she might be the scariest character in the movie. And I bought into everything she was doing. I bought into her pain, her suffering, liked her character a lot. The two male characters I'm supposed to care about who aren't the Count, that part was pretty weak for me. So her husband was kind of, that character was cardboard for me, and so was Friedrich, another character who is in the story. Those two, I didn't care much about them, and that was sort of a problem because they get so much screen time. However, some of the other smaller actors I liked a lot better. I thought Will Dafoe understood his role and did well with it. Some people have said that he understood the absurdity of the material and kind of leaned into it. I don't know about that. I just thought he was entertaining. The actual Count, when we get to the castle and we see the Count for the first time, Bill Skarsgård was a really good Pennywise. He was, from the movie It. He was a unique version of this Nosferatu character. And I had varying reactions with his performance and what the film chose to do with him. I'm going to be honest. When I first saw the Count, I'm remembering the Klaus Kinski version, which is like just when we first meet him, it's just absolutely just terrifying, because Klaus Kinski was crazy. It's just scary, and he was so effective in that role, and he kind of embodied this older than dirt being that just should have gone on a long time ago. Skarsgård's character, at first, the lighting and the way it was filmed, I kind of felt like when I'm meeting the Count in this version, that I was in a Skyrim dungeon and there was a Draugr there. It just felt a little bit more action adventure, different vibe than what I was hoping for at first. Now, as it went on, I found myself being a little bit more of a fan of this. I kind of appreciated this like corrupted Cossack general or something, like some old, character like General Zaroff from The Most Dangerous Game, that short story that's just been like stuck here forever, and he's kind of maddened in his own way. He's not very creepy until he's in his bodysuit. That's creepy. But I didn't feel as terrified of him as I was of either of these. And he's going up against two really iconic performances there. Now, that having been said, I'm glad Eggers didn't just copy one of these. I thought it was cool that this Orlok was a little bit different, although not completely different. I enjoyed that. I just don't think that piece of it is as effective as either of these films. The physical look of the picture, it's a pretty movie most of the time. The use of the color blue is consistent and alluring. The streets, the snow, that's all good. It's like a solid, good piece of cinematography there. One of the parts that I thought was an improvement for me personally from some of the other versions, I really liked the moments on the ship. There's a scene in here where we're on a ship, and I thought all of that was like creepy and well done and moody and atmospheric, and I really liked that part. I thought that part was great when we first met Defoe's character, which I talked about a little bit earlier. I thought that part was entertaining, those first few minutes. There was a tendency from the writing perspective for the writing to just explain everything. Like there was a lot more telling than there was showing. Sometimes I could feel the holding of my hand a lot more than in either of these films. And it was distracting sometimes. There was a single piece of dialogue from Lily Rose Depp where she just flat out explains an emotion in such a way that I almost like laughed at and giggled at. And there is a little bit of a, when the Count is like in the shadows and everything, and he's like an omnipotent presence, like coming spiritually into the frame, that almost seemed a little bit at times like The Mummy, the Brendan Fraser Mummy. Like it was, that movie's a great fun action adventure film. I love that for what it is, but I don't know that tonally all of that worked right. There were awkward tonal shifts, but nothing that I thought made the movie bad or anything. It felt like there was more there. A little bit more patchwork on the script maybe could have helped some with that. And it just could have been more consistently creepy, because I do want to say that I was never scared once in this movie. There are a few jump scares, but it really wasn't ever scary or that disturbing, other than things that you see that are kind of inherently disturbing, but not, it wasn't convincing to me, that part of it. So I was a little let down in that way. I wanted to either be like scared or feel unnerved more than I was, other than, like I said, Lily Rose Depp really, she herself did do that for me at times. But I wanted a little bit more of that than I got. I didn't want like an actual scary movie per se. I didn't want to actually like jump out of my seat scary. I just wanted a little bit more atmosphere than I got in that way. The rats even, the rats felt a little clean in this movie, a little not dirty. Parts of the movie felt too clean for me, too polished. But that all having been said, I think the strength of the actors who matter, like Lily Rose Depp, the Count Orlok was fine. I thought overall, this was a film that I'm glad I own. I own the Blu-ray. Some people probably have the 4K. I'll probably watch this again. I think in the Eggers filmography, this will probably be a classic of his that people really enjoy, although I don't think it will ever approach the sheer sinister evil of something like The Witch. I don't think this is Eggers in his very like top. That film is just downright unnerving. That film makes you feel awful as you watch it in the right ways. And I just don't think it was as effective as that picture. But I would rather see more, if we're going to see remakes, right? I would rather see people that had a reverence for the source material, and there is. I would rather see more of that. I mean, a lot of people have said he's almost like too into the silent. I didn't see that. I thought he gave that version the reverence it deserved. Overall, I'd say this is a pretty solid, good horror watch for me. I went like 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I wanted it to be a touch better than it was, but I might watch it again and fall absolutely in love with it. I don't know. I mean, you got to, I always admit my biases, and like I just really love the Nosferatu, the Klaus Kinski version so much because it just spoke to me in such a special, unique way on the screen. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people probably don't like this one as much as I do. What do you all? What do you all think? Which of these do you like the best if you've seen them? Or did you like the movie a little better than I did? Again, I did like the movie, and I do enjoy it. I'm glad I have it. I think you should see it. I think it's worth having a copy of. I just didn't think it was like a masterpiece, so to speak. And if you did find the content helpful today and you want to click the like button, please do that. It'll help grow the channel. I do like to talk about movies, especially movies like, something like this I'm going to watch and talk about more often because it has, it has its roots in film history. And so I talk a lot about Criterion films. I talk about Westerns, foundational stuff. I'm just a big fan of movies. Anyway, consider subscribing if that's your kind of thing. I think you'll find something you like as a movie fan, and we will see you next time on Cody in the Cinema.